What if I told you that there is a virus so common that millions of people carry it right now, and many don't even know they have it? What if I told you that this same virus can live silently in your body for years, showing little to no signs, yet it can bring serious consequences if ignored? This is not science fiction. This is reality. And it is one of the reasons why awareness and education are so important for protecting your health. Today, we are going to talk about HPV, the human papillomavirus, a condition that is far more widespread than most people realize, often underestimated, and at the same time, deeply misunderstood. The reason this topic matters is simple: silence does not mean safety. Just because you don't feel anything does not mean nothing is happening. That's exactly what makes HPV so concerning. It can be present, active, and spreading without obvious warning signs. And while many people assume that if they feel fine, they are fine, the truth is very different. The human body doesn't always alert us in ways we expect. With HPV, the signals can be subtle, delayed, or hidden altogether. That is why this virus is often called silent, and why understanding it can literally make the difference between prevention and complications. So, what exactly is HPV? At its core, HPV is a group of related viruses. In fact, there are more than 100 different types. Some of them are relatively harmless, causing things like small skin warts that may eventually go away. But others are much more serious, linked to health conditions that can impact not just physical well-being, but also emotional health and quality of life. Some types of HPV can affect the mouth, throat, or genital area, creating long-term risks if they are not managed properly. And here's the crucial part: most people who carry HPV don't even know it. They go about their daily lives, unaware that the virus is present, and because of this, it can be unknowingly passed on. Think about this for a moment. Imagine someone living with HPV for years without any clue. They may have no symptoms, no warning signs, nothing unusual to raise suspicion. Then, suddenly, a routine checkup or a small health issue reveals the truth. This is why HPV education is essential. When you understand how the virus works, how it spreads, and what symptoms to look out for, you put yourself in control. Instead of being caught off guard, you gain the power to protect yourself and the people you care about. Now, let's talk about symptoms, or, more accurately, the challenge of symptoms. Unlike other conditions where the body sends clear messages of pain or discomfort, HPV can stay quiet for a long time. Some people may develop visible changes like warts, but for many others, there's nothing noticeable at all. And when signs do appear, they are often mistaken for something else, leading to further delays in understanding what's really happening. This is where the danger lies. The silent nature of HPV can trick people into thinking everything is fine when, in fact, they should be paying closer attention. And here's another critical point: HPV doesn't only affect one group of people. It doesn't discriminate based on age, background, or lifestyle. Anyone can encounter it. That's what makes it one of the most common viral infections worldwide. But here's the silver lining: just because it's common doesn't mean it's unstoppable. With awareness, testing, and preventive measures, HPV can be managed, and many of the serious outcomes it is linked to can be prevented. But for this to happen, we must first break the silence. Too often, conversations about HPV are avoided, ignored, or brushed aside. People may feel embarrassed, or they may assume it's not relevant to them. Yet, the reality is the opposite: the more we avoid the topic, the stronger the virus becomes, because it thrives on lack of awareness. Knowledge is not only power here, it's protection. By staying informed, by knowing the facts, you can make choices that protect not only yourself but also your loved ones. As we continue in this video, I want you to stay with me until the very end, because what you will discover could change the way you think about your health. You'll learn how HPV shows up in the body, why it often goes unnoticed, and what the real warning signs are. We'll explore how it spreads, why it's called a silent virus, and, most importantly, what actions you can take right now to lower your risk and safeguard your future. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. This is about shining light on something that too often hides in the shadows. Because the truth is, the earlier you understand HPV, the stronger your defenses become. And remember, the most dangerous enemy is not the one you can see coming, it's the one you never knew was there. When people first hear the term HPV, the question that almost always comes to mind is, but how would I even know if I have it? And that's exactly the challenge we need to talk about. The truth is, for the majority of people, HPV does not show any obvious signs right away. It can stay hidden, waiting, and this silence can last for months or even years. That's why it's called a silent condition. But hidden does not mean harmless, and today we are going to peel back the layers of that silence. The first thing to understand is that HPV can behave differently depending on the type of virus and where in the body it appears. Some forms of HPV may cause changes that are visible, like small growths or warts, but others may leave no outward trace. Imagine carrying something without realizing it, and then one day, a small irregularity or a subtle symptom begins to emerge. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. Maybe it looks like a skin irritation, or a harmless spot. But those small signs can sometimes be the body's way of whispering that something deeper is happening. Let's start with one of the more recognizable signals, warts. They can appear in different areas of the body, on the hands, on the feet, or in more sensitive regions. These are caused by specific types of HPV that target the skin and create these small, raised growths. While they can be uncomfortable or embarrassing, they are usually not dangerous by themselves. However, their presence is proof of how easily HPV can settle into the body. They are a reminder that the virus is active and that it should not be ignored. But here's where things get more concerning. Some types of HPV do not create warts or any external changes. Instead, they remain quiet, working invisibly inside. These are the high-risk types of HPV, the ones that doctors watch most closely. In these cases, the symptoms are not something you can see or feel immediately, which is why regular checkups become so important. Without them, you might never realize that HPV is present until it has already created bigger problems. Now, let's look at the more subtle, less obvious symptoms that some people might notice but often brush aside. For example, unusual discomfort, itching, or small changes in the skin can sometimes be connected to HPV. These signs are often mistaken for other minor issues and dismissed as nothing serious. That's what makes HPV tricky. It disguises itself as something ordinary, making people less likely to seek help early. Another important point is that HPV can sometimes affect areas like the throat or mouth. In these cases, symptoms might include hoarseness, a sore throat that lingers, or small changes in the mouth that don't heal quickly. Again, many people would never connect these subtle changes with HPV, which is why they often go unnoticed. The silence of HPV is not only about the absence of symptoms but also about how easily the signs it does create can be overlooked. Our busy lives make it easy to ignore small health changes, to tell ourselves that things will clear up on their own. But the truth is, listening to your body is one of the most powerful tools you have. Your body speaks to you, not always loudly, but through small, repeated signals. The challenge is whether you pay attention or not. Let's pause and think about how this silence impacts everyday life. Because HPV often doesn't create immediate problems, many people carry on as if nothing is wrong. They assume they are safe, while in reality, the virus is still there. This creates a chain reaction. People who don't know they have HPV may pass it on, and the cycle continues. And because it is so common, the cycle spreads widely. Breaking that cycle requires awareness, testing, and education. Another key factor is the emotional side of HPV. Even when people do notice symptoms like warts, many feel too embarrassed to talk about it or seek help. They keep it to themselves, which not only delays proper care but also deepens the sense of isolation. This is why talking openly about HPV is so important. The silence around the virus does not only exist inside the body, it also exists in society. Breaking that silence removes fear and replaces it with action. Now, here's something powerful to remember: not everyone with HPV will develop serious problems. In fact, in many cases, the body's immune system is strong enough to clear the virus on its own over time. But here's the catch: you never know if you'll be one of those people or not. You never know how your body will react until it happens. That uncertainty is what makes paying attention so critical. Why take the risk of ignoring something that could be so easily managed with awareness and regular checkups? The point is not to scare you, but to prepare you. HPV is incredibly common, but it does not have to control your life. By knowing what to look for, by not dismissing unusual changes, and by being proactive with your health, you can stay ahead of it. And remember, it's not only about physical health. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you are aware, informed, and in control is just as important. Imagine living your life without the shadow of uncertainty, without wondering if a small sign is something more. That is the power of awareness. As we move into the next part of this video, I want you to keep one question in mind: if HPV can be silent, how do you truly protect yourself? The answer lies in prevention, in awareness, and in choices you can make right now. Stay with me, because in the final section, we will uncover how HPV spreads, why prevention matters so much, and the specific steps you can take to protect yourself and those around you. Don't go anywhere. What you're about to learn could be the most important part of this entire discussion. Now that we have uncovered what HPV is and how its symptoms can be silent or easily overlooked, we need to talk about something even more essential: prevention and protection. Because while knowledge is power, action is what truly makes the difference. And when it comes to HPV, the right choices can protect not just you, but the people around you. Let's begin with the most important truth: HPV is incredibly common, but that doesn't mean it is unavoidable. There are steps you can take today that dramatically reduce your risk and keep you ahead of the virus. Awareness is the first step, but prevention is where awareness turns into strength. One of the key ways to prevent HPV is through regular health checkups. For men and women alike, staying consistent with screenings is crucial. These visits give doctors the chance to spot any irregular changes early, long before they turn into bigger concerns. For women, tests like the Pap smear and HPV DNA tests are essential tools that can detect cellular changes caused by the virus. For men, even though there is no routine HPV screening, regular checkups still play a vital role in noticing any physical changes or symptoms that could be connected. Another powerful layer of protection comes from vaccination. Today, there are vaccines available that target the most common and high-risk strains of HPV. By protecting yourself early, you lower the chances of the virus ever becoming a concern in your life. And remember, vaccination is not just for one gender, it can benefit everyone. Think of it as a shield, not only protecting you, but also helping to reduce the spread of HPV in the wider community. The stronger that shield becomes collectively, the safer everyone is. But let's also talk about habits in everyday life. Personal responsibility plays a huge role in protecting yourself and others. Making informed decisions, practicing safe behaviors, and respecting your own health boundaries are all part of a bigger picture. It's about valuing your body and giving it the best chance to stay strong. Another part of prevention that often gets overlooked is communication. Open and honest conversations about health, even about topics that feel uncomfortable, break down stigma and create safety. When people feel empowered to talk, they also feel empowered to act. Silence, on the other hand, gives HPV more power. So, the next time you notice something unusual, or you have a question about your health, don't hold back. Speak up. That decision might be the key that changes everything. And here's something to reflect on: protecting yourself from HPV is not only about avoiding a virus, it's about building a mindset of health awareness that benefits you in every area of your life. When you take your health seriously, when you commit to small preventive steps, you are not just protecting against one condition. You are setting a standard for how you care for your body overall. Now, let's return to the bigger picture. Why is prevention so critical with HPV? Because the virus has the ability to remain hidden, sometimes for years, and during that time, it can quietly cause changes in the body. By the time those changes become obvious, they may be much harder to manage. Prevention cuts off that possibility before it begins. It shifts the focus from reacting to problems toward avoiding them altogether. Think about it like this: your health is like a garden. If you take care of it regularly, pulling out small weeds before they grow, watering it, and giving it attention, it flourishes. But if you ignore it, even for a while, small weeds can grow into something much harder to remove. HPV works in a similar way, and prevention is your way of keeping the garden of your health clear and strong, but there's another dimension to all of this: peace of mind. Imagine living with constant worry, always questioning whether a small irritation, a sore, or an unusual change could mean something bigger. That kind of stress weighs heavily on people, even if they don't talk about it out loud. Now imagine the relief of knowing you've taken steps to protect yourself, that you are staying informed and proactive. That peace of mind is priceless, and it's something prevention can give you. At this point, you may be asking, what's the best step I can take right now? The answer is simple but powerful: start with awareness. Schedule that checkup you've been putting off. Learn about the HPV vaccine and whether it's right for you. Pay attention to your body and take seriously even the small signs that something might be off. Talk openly with people you trust about your questions or concerns. Every single one of these steps builds a layer of protection that strengthens your overall health. And let's not forget, prevention is also about community. When you take care of yourself, you are also protecting the people close to you, your partner, your family, your friends. Health is not just an individual journey, it's something that affects everyone around us. When you make choices that keep you safe, you are contributing to the safety of others too. That's why conversations like this matter so much. By breaking the silence and sharing awareness, we are building a stronger, healthier world together. So, as we wrap up this video, remember this: HPV is common, but it doesn't have to control your life. It may be silent, but with awareness, it can never catch you off guard. By paying attention to your body, by staying consistent with checkups, by considering vaccination, and by practicing open communication, you can take control of your health in powerful ways. The key message I want you to walk away with is this: your health is in your hands. You have the ability to protect yourself, to break the silence, and to make choices today that will keep you safe for years to come. Don't wait until it's too late. Start now. Listen to your body, respect it, and give it the care it deserves. And finally, if this video has helped you understand HPV a little better, take a moment to share it with someone who might need this information too. Sometimes the most powerful gift we can give is knowledge. Together, we can raise awareness, fight the silence, and create a healthier future for everyone. Stay strong, stay informed, and most importantly, take care of yourself, because your health is your greatest treasure.